All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Bear's Guide 205. Remember, you should be watching this through Canvas on Edpuzzle for the first time you're watching it. And if you're watching it after that, well, then you're watching it on YouTube. Okay, so what are we talking about today? We are getting into migration and asking the big question, why do people migrate, right? So, huge question. Huge question. Why do people migrate? And we're going to focus on really just the reasons in this one, but overall, that is the main question of the chapter. So, what all right. Well, first off, we talk about push and pull factors. So, migration is permanent. Let's be real. When people leave a country or an area they're in, they're generally moving to stay in that new place. Emigration with the E is exiting an area, immigration is entering an area. And there are three main push/pull factors, and we'll get into what those mean. Um, well, essentially, push means it pushes you out, and pull pulls you to a place. And the three things that really make people move. The first one being economic reasons, because poverty sucks. Remember that, guys. It's really not hard to explain. Poverty sucks, so you move, right? So that's the main reason that people move. But the other reasons why people move, and is not as frequent, is things like cultural, politics, the environment. You want to live in a different climate, or social. You want to be with friends, or you want to go to a place with less people. Really, just for preference, right? The number one reason people migrate is largely economic. Now, there are two types of migration. There's forced migration and there's voluntary migration. So, if generally you are voluntarily migrating, the reason for your migration is economic. Generally, people who are forced, there is some type of war happening, conflict, persecution, there's some type of environmental famine or disaster that is forcing people to move out. So, an example of this, like examples of forced migrations, would be the displacement of the Native Americans, it would be the diaspora of the Jews from Palestine, it would be the African slave trade, it's all the refugees we've talked about, all the refugees coming out of Syria. All those are examples of forced migrations, whereas voluntary migrations is like when the Europeans, after the Industrial Revolution, all went to the US for jobs. Now, were some escaping like religious persecution? Yeah, because that always happens. But culturally, not as big as the impact is literally having a job. So, in and out migration, really simple concept. People going into a place, out migration is people going out. It's that immigration and emigration, but it gives us this net migration number. Essentially, do you have more people coming into your country or do you have more people leaving your country? And there is a pattern that you have to know. LDCs have a net out. They have people leaving their countries. People are generally leaving the developing world because of less money and less opportunities to go to a developed country where there are money and opportunities. But we know that migration isn't so easy. Things get in the way, and those are intervening obstacles. Intervening obstacles are anything that blocks you from migrating, and they can be something physical. It can be something in the environment like mountains. It could be borders, it could be the ocean, it could be documents, it could be language. So it can be physical, like actual things you can't overcome, or it can be cultural, right? Do you not have the documents? Do you not have a passport? Do you not speak the language? Is there war? But then there's that intervening opportunity, right? Because things block us from migrating. It can be something bad or something good. Say people are migrating and they're say in the country they're still in, but now they're in like a big city and they're saving up money to leave to eventually buy a plane ticket or get on a boat or something like that. But in that place, they find a job and they find money and they want to stay instead. So they go, you know what? I'm just going to stay here. And money is a good way to stop us from moving. It is a great intervening opportunity because that's what you're looking for in the first place. So if you find it inside of your country or a stop along the way on your travels, you'll probably stay there. So, economic push and pull factors, guys. Essentially, economic push factors are poverty in the world, and the pull factor is economic opportunity. Cultural push factors, guys, there's political instability all throughout the world, and that is going to push people to go to places that are politically stable. Same thing with the environment. You get pushed out of the environment because there's a hurricane, there's a flood, there's volcano eruptions, there's earthquakes, there's tornadoes. But the environmental pull factor is like warmer climates, or you want to live next to the ocean. All right, so to sum all this up, there's a theory, right? Or there's a model, or someone did it. You know what I mean? That's how it always happens. So on the left you have location A, and on the B, or on the right side you have location B. And there's positives and negatives of being in each place. There's push and pull factors of each place, right? But the push factors are what push people out of country A, and they get pulled to location B, right? Whether that be money, safety, security. But sometimes there's an opportunity, or AKA, to make some money, right? And generally, that intervening opportunity is probably in a part of the world where you share the same culture, the same language, the same religion, just the same background. So it makes it more appealing to stay there. But of course, as always, we have our intervening obstacles and our roadblocks, whether it be mountains, deserts, oceans, lack of visas and documents, stuff like that. So that's it. That's really all we're conquering today. So what you need to know today. Know the difference between push and pull factors. One pushes you out, one pulls you in. Know the reasons for migrating, whether it be economic and voluntary or forced with cultural reasons. Understand how intervening obstacles and opportunities affect migration, how both stop migration, but what exactly happens with each. And then finally, be able to analyze Lee's model of migration and incorporate all this vocab, the push and pull factors, the voluntary, the forced, all that, into that model and understand. So as always, make sure to hit that like button, hit subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you know when new videos are released so you stay up to date on what's going on in the class. And as always, this is Bear's Guide to a 5. We'll see you next time.